And when we talk about aggregate market cap, we are fifth largest because the profitability of our companies have been higher than some other company, and therefore we are on by market cap number 5. So, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today, both in person and some of them virtually. In May this year, we had announced our intent to merge LTI and Mindtree. The idea was to combine the complementary strength of LTI and Mindtree and create a larger IT services company called LTI and Mindtree. With a comprehensive portfolio of clients, capabilities, verticals, and markets to better serve customers and nurture the talent. A little over 6 months after the respective boards of directors of the two companies approved a composite scheme of amalgamation of these companies, we are here to announce that LTI Mindtree has now become a reality. The two companies will start operating as a single entity starting immediately today. I am delighted to inform you that the merger has been approved by the Mumbai and Bangalore branches of the National Company Law Tribunal (NCLT) in two separate orders. We are deeply grateful to them for their swift approvals. As a result, in what appears to be a record time frame, we are well on our way to launching LTI Mindtree, India's next large-scale IT services company, which will be the by market cap fifth and otherwise sixth largest IT services company in India in terms of, as I said, in terms of the two dimensions. As a part of the merger, all shareholders of Mindtree will be issued shares of LTI at the ratio of 73 shares of LTI for every 100 shares of Mindtree. The record date to determine the eligible shareholders of Mindtree for issuing equity shares of LTI pursuant to the scheme is expected to be on 24th November 22. LTI and Mindtree are uniquely positioned to combine and scale up historical performance, and recent industry shift indicate significant advantage to being a larger player in terms of better margin profile, higher participation in large deals, which is very, very important, greater ability to stitch together end-to-end offering, and deeper engagement with hyperscalers to drive significant value. LTI Mindtree will not just continue, but also build upon this growth momentum with deeper capabilities and greater access to new clients in complementary verticals will create enormous cross-sell and upsell opportunities. The merged entity will deliver enhanced value to both new as well as existing clients through cross-pollination of learning and capabilities across its expanded portfolio, while building upon the complementary strength of both companies. LTI Mindtree aspires to go from good to great and drive double-digit growth over the next 5 years. At a higher PAT margin, L&T, the parent company, will hold 68.73% of LTI Mindtree. L&T's Lakshya 2026, which is our strategic plan, envisages a three-pronged approach involving infrastructure as a group, manufacturing, very high-tech manufacturing, and IT and technology services. Obviously, some platform designing and creation, and some companies we have started as a kind of startup effort from and will form an asset light business. The merged entity marked a significant milestone in furthering the strategic vision of expanding L&T's IT services business to around 26% of our total business by the year 2026. It might even be much higher when it comes to market cap. LNTI Mindtree will continue to retain its independence as a listed enterprise. L&T is committed to growing the technology services business and will support the new entity and help all stakeholders in value creation. Our endeavor is to make sure that there are no changes in the high levels of engagement, responsiveness, and entrepreneurship that have made both LTI and Mindtree special to their customers, partners, and employees. I wish to take this opportunity to thank clients, partners, analysts, investors, and our talented team for their support in helping LTI and Mindtree grow from strength to strength despite microeconomic challenges. And look forward to their continued trust and support in powering the next phase of our growth as L&T Mindtree. Now, let me turn to our CEO and MD, Mr. Debashish Chatterjee, to say what he wants to say about this merger entity and what he sees as a future of this company.
Thank you, sir. And good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. It's indeed an honor for me to address you today. At the outset, let me express my gratitude to Mr. A.M. Naik and Mr. S.N. Subramanian for entrusting me with the responsibility to lead LTI Mindtree. Today is a red letter day for the L&T Group, LTI, Mindtree, and the Indian IT services industry. For L&T, the coming together of LTI and Mindtree signifies a giant leap in its strategy to turn technology services into a fundamental pillar of its growing business. For LTI and Mindtree, joining hands opens doors to momentous new opportunities for growth and value creation as a combined at-scale player. For the Indian IT services industry, LTI Mindtree marks the historic emergence of the next large-scale IT services player. LTI Mindtree combines LTI's engineering and Mindtree's software DNAs, blending their problem-solving and digital-first strengths into a unique value proposition for clients. By combining the complementary strengths of LTI and Mindtree, LTI Mindtree will unlock the benefits of scale, a stronger portfolio of capabilities and offerings across verticals and geographies, enhanced stakeholder engagement, and streamlined delivery. With a stronger, more distinctive employee value proposition, LTI Mindtree will also be a magnet for cutting edge talent. Digital transformation today firmly placed at the heart of competitive advantage and sustainable growth. It has assumed further momentum and urgency because of rapid changes in digital technologies as well as growing expectations from them. Long standing industry dynamics are being upended by a number of factors. Next generation businesses and revenue streams are being conceived, tested, implemented, and refined with a vengeance. Industry boundaries are blurring rapidly as industry intersections become crucibles of new ideas and opportunities. The rush to modernize with new age technologies and build greater resilience has never been more pressing. With end to end transformational capabilities spanning businesses, experiences, infrastructure, and operations, LTI Mindtree is well positioned to deliver differentiated value as an at scale player. Helping businesses to accelerate strategic business outcomes falls in the sweet spot of LTI Mindtree because of our stronger, diversified portfolio of services and skills across a wider market footprint, increased ability to deliver across larger, more significant transformation requirements, stronger balance sheet to support investments in platforms, people, technologies, and client relationships, expanded making in collaboration with hyperscalers, ex- enterprise solutions, SaaS platforms, and product companies. And most importantly, a convergent point of view based on our expanded cross industry expertise. LTI Mindtree will leverage revenue synergies between two of the highly complementary entities to drive growth through upsell, cross sell opportunities, and the ability to stitch integrated offerings across multiple service lines to participate in large scale IT transformations. In LTI Mindtree, clients will find a partner large enough to take on the most complex of their transformational aspirations, yet small enough to do so with the appetite and agility of a startup. Helping me steer the new organization to a greater heights will be our leaders. Sudhir Chaturvedi as President Markets, Venu Lambu as President Markets, Nachiket Deshpande as Chief Operating Officer, Vineet Teredesai as Chief Financial Officer, Manoj Shikhar Khane as Chief Human Resources Officer, and Suresh Betabandhu as Chief Talent Officer. As LTI Mindtree, our endeavor will be to help enterprises to do more than just keep pace with change, but also take on the future ahead of time and competition in all its complexity and potential. With our expanded offerings, we are confident in our ability to help enterprises harness the full power of technology and reinvention to get to the future faster together. Thank you.
Very good. I'd like to introduce you. Uh, I think you know now, Mr. Chatterjee. Obviously, nobody can miss Mr. Subramaniam, who has been the CEO and MD of L&T Group. And then we have Mr. Sudhir, who sits in New Jersey, is our marketing and sales in charge. And Venu is also the sales and marketing in charge, and he sits in London. And we have a CFO, Nachiket is our chief operating officer, and with these two merger, we'll have 90,000 employees. And we have a CFO, what Vinit, and company secretary is here, not here. Okay, so now I have introduced you all my colleagues, the management team, hopefully which will drive the growth to a great heights. If you have any question, we are open.
So thank you, gentlemen. Till this point, we will also like to thank our LinkedIn live audience and our YouTube audience. And we will also want to launch the logo by way of a logo unveiling video. We want to present it to all of you. This is the first time we'll be having a look at it. If we can have the logo video.
A new era. Two industry acclaimed challengers join hands to create a leader, a new kind of technology consulting powerhouse built to meet the unique needs of today's enterprises. Built to deliver superior client service and best in class capabilities and scale. Introducing LTI Mindtree, backed by 80 years of Larsen & Toubro Group's engineering prowess, with a strength of 90,000 talented professionals and a global presence spanning over 30 countries across 5 continents. We are LTI Mindtree, getting businesses to the future faster together.
that was our logo. There's a very quick snapshot of our website that is getting launched today. So here's it for all of you. Have a first look at it.
Anything more?
Nothing. You can open the door for
So, huh?
I'll carry on.
You found the slot.
Yeah.
All the best.
Thanks. See you
Good
later.
luck.
Catch up, guys. Good luck. All the best.
Any question? Anybody
No, let
else?
me just, this is the operator. Let me check from the participants on the audio call. Participants connected to the audio, if you wish to ask a question, you may enter star and one on your touchtone telephone. We have a question from Ben from PTI. Please go ahead with your question.
Could someone, hi, this is Ben from PTA. Could someone clarify? You said post-merger, this will be the sixth largest in terms of revenue and the fifth largest in terms of market cap.
Yes.
What is the revenue that you have in mind, combined revenue?
Well, as a three entities, it will be 5.2 billion this year.
5.2 billion.
5.2, and next year we will cross 6 billion. Talking about the
And
company.
what about profitability?
Huh?
Profitability.
You know, we have consistently given 14.5 to 15% PAT, and we think we'll continuously not only sustain that, but try to improve upon it.
And on the 16,000, no, sorry.
Huh?
The employees that you said was
90,000
90,000.
in this two merged entity. But if you include our engineering services, it will be 1,20,000.
Okay. And what is the cost synergies that you have, or cost savings with the merger?
Well, I think we will not be able to quantifiably tell you right now because we have a lot of work to do in integrating technologically, sales and marketing, delivery, and exact cost saving we'll know maybe a few months down the road. But we think we will at least be able to save 1.5%.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay, anybody else?
we can have questions from suggestions.
Sir, you said that 26% by 2026. So, in that, what more vision will be there to achieve that target?
Well, right now we are more than 26%. But then we are starting new initiative as a group. So we said it might average out to 26. But as I mentioned, by market cap, we might even be higher than 26.
What are the overlaps in the two companies and location-wise, sector-wise, services-wise?
I think Mr. Chatterjee can reply.
See, I think the way to look at it is if you look at the two entities, LTI and Mindtree, there are some natural synergies. And the synergies are more in terms of service lines or the capabilities as we talk about. And even within the capabilities, there are areas where the Mindtree has been traditionally strong, and there are areas where LTI has been traditionally strong, like supply chain transformation. LTI has been very, very strong. Customer experience, Mindtree has been very strong. But overall, it's the end-to-end digital transformation that both the companies have been focusing on. There is a good synergy. But when it comes to the industries, it's the other way around. There are not too much overlaps, but both the companies coming together, you get access to many more industries than you could get access as a single company. Just to give you an example, LTI has been doing a lot of work on oil and gas, and Mindtree doesn't do anything on oil and gas. Mindtree does a lot of work on travel, hospitality. LTI doesn't do on travel. So there's a natural synergy in terms of getting more industry verticals. And even from a geography standpoint, I think we have a good balance in terms of the geographies in which we operate, as well as the development centers that we have in the various cities. So overall, we feel that, and this is something we have been very vocal about right from the word go, is that there is a natural synergy and we should be able to capitalize in terms of the synergies. And that's why, to the earlier question that we asked about cost savings, I think the more focus right now is to create the synergies and get more revenues in the marketplace. So if we can do that, the other aspects of the business will automatically happen.
And what challenges you see in this with going ahead? Supply side constraints were there already. So anything that you see?
Well, I think the normal challenges in running a business will always be there. I think the supply, the talent is always something that we have been going through a bit of a challenging time
In
over the
fact,
last
whole
18 months.
industry has a problem
Yeah.
on talent management.
But apart from that, I think the excitement in the company is about how do you capture more opportunities in the marketplace. Because the other interesting thing is, if you take both the companies together, we are talking about almost like 700 plus clients. But there are only around handful of 10 to 12 clients which are overlapping. That means we are servicing those clients through both the entities. So which means there's a huge opportunity in terms of cross selling and upselling in terms of all these other clients. So from that perspective, we are looking at more opportunities. Now when you talk about challenges, yeah, there are macroeconomic challenges that we are always keeping an eye on. We are looking at our clients portfolio and figuring out in terms of what challenges clients are going through. But apart from that, it's more exciting for us in terms of our journey to, going forward as LTI Mindtree.
On the currency side, what has been the impact? And also being positive for the LTI group as well. But otherwise, you see anything impact of the currency?
No, I mean, if you're talking about currency per se, I mean, there has been a lot of challenges with respect to the dollar strengthening, and that's something which has been impacting the IT industry in general. It's just not LTI Mindtree, but that's something which we always keep an eye on. I don't know, Vinith, you want to comment anything further?
Look at it that we have 70% plus of our business coming from the North American market, and whereby we have no exposure on the forex. But we continue to hedge ourselves appropriately and try to ensure that we are appropriately balanced at our profitability level.
Thank you. So yeah, quick query. Where is LTI Mindtree going to be headquartered?
Mumbai.
And just to go back, you mentioned the 5.2 billion revenue that is for this combined for three entities or two entities.
2 plus engineering. But that is for this year. As I said, next year, on its own, this and merge entity will cross 5 billion.
So we have some questions online also from colleagues. Sorry, you were asking.
So we were talking about challenges. So, there are a lot of challenges. There's global recession. People are talking about, as you mentioned, the value of dollar, and also there's challenge of talent too. Uh, what's your take on moonlighting, especially? When we're talking, on one hand, there are students who are saying that, they've got the letters, but they're not like being called and they're still waiting for their job to start. And then there's another section who's saying that, we have projects, but we also have projects to undertake as moonlighting. So what's your take on the same?
Can I take that?
You want to say?
Yeah. So I think there are two aspects you're talking about. One is if you are talking about freshers that we are hiring, we have been honoring all the fresher offers, so there's no second thought about it. But if you're talking about specifically in terms of moonlighting, I think the company policy is very clear. We don't allow dual employment.
At the moment, we are following the hybrid model, which means maybe half the time people have to come to office and half the time. But as time passes, we believe for the very reasons that you said, the market is going to have challenge. Today, the market has been booming, because of which the attrition rate had been very high. But I mean, with the kind of geopolitical issues and so on, the first thing the various companies do is to cut the cost of overheads, which will include IT. Now, as far as L&T and Mindtree is concerned, we are going to be very little affected. But as such, the industry will be at the varied degree of each company will be affected. And so we expect over the next 12 months, the attrition rate, which is averagely going in the industry as around 20 plus percentage, or maybe to up to 23, 24, will come down by 4 to 5%.
Another query would be, on the clients front, have all of your clients been kind of eased into this, the new brand, and how the company will basically, the new merged entity will be engaging with them?
Well, I think we announced this merger on 6th of May, and we had a good 6 plus months to talk to our clients. In fact, we pretty much did our client conversation within the first 3 to 4 weeks of the merger announcement. And I can only say that, barring a few instances, isolated instances, clients have been overall appraised and briefed, and they have been very happy, satisfied with the way the communication plan or the communication has been done. So I don't think there is any concern on the client side, and they are pretty well expecting that this has to be announced at some point of time.
And was there any CCI approval pending at all for this final merger?
No, sir.
We'll be taking some questions from online now.
Thank you. We have a question from the line of Mini Tejasvi from the Hindu. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Naik. For clarity, you spoke about both the companies will remain independent as listed companies, right?
Both together will be a independent listed entity.
So these Mindtree and LTI will remain independently listed companies, right?
I mean, they are a part of the group company. To the extent they are independent now, that will continue as a larger company of LTI Mindtree.
Okay, so my question is, will we be looking at consolidating these listings as well in the future, or will they continue to remain independent on the basis?
I said we are going to have this company independently traded, independently listed. Though L&T may hold 68%, L&T is very clear that it has to allow this entity and our engineering services to operate as the industry does and excel among the industry peers.
Yeah.
And for that, we would like to keep it as independent.
So just to clarify, LTI and Mindtree will no longer operate as independent listed companies. The company that will be listed will be called LTI Mindtree. So there will be only one company that will be listed, which is LTI Mindtree.
Oh, okay. One more question, Mr. Naik. You mentioned about that you readied a composite scheme or something that kind of led to the closure of this merger. Can you give some details about this scheme
Which one?
that you worked on?
Sorry, I did not quite understand what question you have.
Okay, you mentioned that you readied a composite scheme or something like that at the beginning of the conference.
It's a merger scheme.
So the scheme of the merger is called the scheme of amalgamation. So that is what is presented to the NCLT, both in Bangalore and Mumbai.
But it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. I have another question for DC. DC, I know now you have people from both the companies, so I would like to know what could be the people integration challenges that you have in front of you, and how do you plan to streamline these people fronts of both the companies?
Well, I think first of all, one thing which we have always been talking about is, though these are two different listed entities, but we already had experience of working together. And in many deals, we have actually come together and worked together. And even if you look at the people side of the, or as we call it, work ethos or culture, whichever way you define, it's fairly consistent across both the companies. So I'm happy to say that as we have gone through some of the integration activities, we found that the people practices are, or the work ethos are absolutely consistent. Like it's a as a combined entity, LTI Mindtree will be a company which believes in having a purpose, which will be a caring company, which is a learning focused company, and also we will focus in terms of delivering results. So these are the four pillars that we'll continue to have. And if you have these consistent four behaviors, then I think the people integration part also becomes very easy. So I don't think I anticipate challenges in terms of people integration.
One last thing, and the combined entity strength will be 90,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Without engineering services company, as I mentioned, if you include that, IT enabled services will be 120,000.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Naik and Mr. DC.
Thank you.
So there is a global slowdown. So, was that a concern, before you thought of merger? Or maybe, I'm sure the talks must have started much earlier, but was this ever a concern of global
Not
slowdown?
really. I mean, 6 to 7 months ago, it was a golden period for IT companies. Basically, the fear of slowdown or apprehension of slowdown came with the increased warlike situation which is there now. In fact, war itself that has intensified over 6 months, and that of course has created a lot of concern among our customers. And as I mentioned, many of our customers have started cutting costs, and most of the cost cutting will have to come from overheads. They can defer IT expenses, but they can't defer production. So there may be some impact, but as I mentioned, L&T and Mindtree will have much more advantage than what they were at two companies.
And as you just mentioned, that it's the cost cutting process that's going on across many
Will
countries.
go on.
Will go on. So do you think so in the long run? I mean, as if for now they're cutting costs, but in the long run, the Indian tech sector could benefit out of this because when you're doing the cost cutting, especially in the US, for example, you're hiring and then you're laying off. You have to pay them a certain cost both the time. But now when you're giving the same project to India, probably the heads will be the cost of, let's say, the project will go down and will benefit in the long run.
Yeah, but the price may or cost may go down, but the customer expect also lower rates. So it's not as if current weighted average rate is $40 an hour, that if we offshore more and more, which by the way, customers are very open to now because of the epidemic and working from home and all kinds of problems we have been having for last 2 years. And therefore, I think the situation is going to be fairly competitive, but I think we as a merged entity will better stand up to that.
Can I add
Please,
something?
yeah.
Oh, yes, please.
See, in another way, if you look at most of the work that IT companies do, and especially LTI Mindtree, is either you help in terms of clients enhance their revenues, or you help in terms of clients, make their IT more efficient, which is like cost takeout. But what happens in the current scenario is clients have been in the various stages of transformation. Last 2 years during the pandemic, every client has been very focused on transformation. Yeah, there is a bit of slowdown in some clients, but what the clients are looking for right now is to change the conversation where they need to take the cost out so that they can fund their transformation. So whether you take the cost out or you do transformation, in either cases, a company like LTI Mindtree will always be required to kind of support that client. And given the combined capabilities, we feel we are in a much stronger position right now.
And as so you mentioned that most of the revenue comes from North America. So the slowdown in the US and Europe is not of much concern.
So I think it's not fair to say that we are watching the space very closely. Yeah, revenues come from US as well as Europe, but I think more than anything else, the slowdown, that the way we look at it is the portfolio of clients that we manage within our portfolio. And even if I look at the way things are going right now within the same industry, two clients are not behaving the same way. So there is nothing like a one size fit all. So at this point of time, we are watching the space very closely. There are some clients where we do see clients impacted because of the situation with Ukraine Russia, the situation with China, supply chain. So some clients are impacted, but at an overall broad level, we are watching the space very closely. And we feel that given the overall portfolio of clients that we are still quite confident that we can do the cross selling and upselling the way we do it normally.
See, we have one unique advantage over the market because we have 700 clients together. So LTI had 400 clients, Mindtree had 300 clients. Now, the 300 clients of Mindtree can benefit from LTI service lines like ERP, etc., where we were very strong. And similarly, the 400 clients of Mindtree of LTI can benefit from the customer success service line. So this is internal to us. This is in our control, and this is a unique opportunity for us to leverage cross sell and upsell even in this market.
Also, you must remember, so far, major benefit that has gone historically to LTI is the L&T connections world over. And the amount of benefits that LTI have got is enormous. We started this company in 99 where we had zero clients, zero. And there is not a single industrial house. There are articles written about it. Who has been able to scale up to our limit? Not a single, other than L&T. You show me even one. And all of them existed much before us. All of them. So we think that there is enough opportunity for us now with this scaling up, hopefully, and integration effectively done, we'll be able to grow somewhat faster and neutralize the effect, if at all, of slowdown.
Any key changes in strategy that you foresee going ahead now since you're one single merged entity, and also given your enhanced size now, do you think that there's a better probability of getting bigger projects, larger projects compared to earlier time?
See, first of all, we are, embarking on a journey in terms of looking at the market and doing our strategy exercise, which we do from time to time. But in a very simple way, our focus will continue to be cross selling and upselling the way we do it.
70 crore.
But also there are opportunities where if there are large deals, which unfortunately has not happened too many, but large deals cannot be ruled out in the future. So when you have large deals, it's always the size of the organization to get a seat on the table. So we are very confident that as and when there are opportunities of large deals, we'll have a much more better position to get a seat on the table and compete on those deals as well. But at a detailed level, I mean, we are still working on the strategy in terms of how we do. But what service lines we'll be working on, what verticals will be supporting, all those things are decided because we are going to get the leverage of the combined entities.
We'll take the next question from online or media, please.
Thank you. Our next question is from Ayushi Kar from the Hindu Business Line. Please go ahead.
Audible?
Yes, we.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand that the merged entity is going to have around 90,000 employees. Is there any, can you also elucidate on the kind of hiring plans that you have in the future? Obviously, talent is going to be an issue, but are you going to increase the organization strength?
No, at an overall level, the hiring plan that the individual companies used to have, that kind of baked into a combined hiring plan. And we will, we always review the hiring plan based on the market situation, the kind of projects that we are getting into, etc. So at a high level, it doesn't change. The hiring plans are not really going to change from what we had as individual companies. That just gets combined.
Right. Secondly, I also wanted to know, you said that you have around 8 to 12 out of 700 plus clients that you have together that have sort of an overlapping, eventually trying to further capitalize on that. How do you see the client portfolio expand in terms of the combined effectiveness of both the arms, NET and Mindtree? How much do you see them expand in the future?
I think if I understood the question correctly in terms of, how do we synergize the potential that exists in the 700 plus customer? Is that the question, right? Yeah. Yeah, look, I think as DC mentioned, the overlap is, very minimal. We're talking about only, 10, 12 accounts, which are common accounts rather than overlap common accounts. But, the rest of the accounts is where you have a significant white space, whether they are Mindtree's existing account or the LTA existing account. If you actually do the white space analysis, you will find a significant opportunities to actually bring in each other's capabilities, right? One is within our, independent companies itself. There's a lot of things that we haven't actually leveraged it in our existing customers. So that's one part of it. The second is when you actually bring both the capabilities together, you have the chance to maximize the value zone that you can actually create in the client end. So that's what is going to happen in that large customer base, and that's really going to be a very focused effort between me and Sudhir in terms of how do we actually go to the market and go deeper into these client set and bring our combined story together.
Right. Understood. And just one last clarification. When you say that you're going to cross $6 billion in revenue next year, that's including
How
engineering,
much?
right?
6. Yeah.
Not
Yes, you
for
can.
the two entities.
What is it? Can you repeat?
6 billion including.
So when you said that you'll cross $6 billion next year, that's including engineering.
You say engineering is already 1.1 billion today.
Right.
And we think it will be 1.3 billion plus next year.
Right. And overall for the merged entity, how much do you expect to just clarify?
Overall, for the merged entity, we are going to be trying to cross 5 billion. So if you add the two, it comes to 6.2, 6.3. Therefore, I said 6 billion.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Huh?
We'll have the next
Target
question
set हो
from
गया.
online as
क्या
well.
हुआ?
Target set हो गया.
The next question is from Sai
इतना
Ishwar from Economic Times.
डिफिकल्ट
Go
टारगेट
ahead.
नहीं है.
Hello. Sir, I just wanted to know the NCLT approval is done, but should we also expect Competition Commission of India's approval? Is that also pending?
No, we don't need the approval from the Competition Commission of India.
Okay. And also, sir, could you give us some timeline on when do you expect to realize the full benefits of cost synergies and the revenue synergies?
You want to say anything?
See, Sai, the way to look at it is that the entire merger of these two companies have been built on the premise that we want to create more synergies in terms of revenues in the market. But there are certain synergies in terms of cost also which are natural. Like for example, if you are just to give you an example, if you have real estate in a city like Bangalore and both the companies have real estate, we can consolidate the real estate over a period of time. But that doesn't happen overnight. That's something which will happen over time. So the way to look at it is the primary focus of this merger will be to generate the synergies, the cross-selling and upselling that we are talking about, generate the synergies in the market in terms of revenues. But over a period of time, we have to work through in terms of what are the natural cost synergies also that we can generate. So the cost synergies will be more back-ended, where the revenue synergies will be more front-ended as we go along. But as we go along into the process over the next, there is an integration process that we are going to run right now. I'm sure, as Chairman Sir pointed out, over the next 2-3 months, we will be able to get better view in terms of what kind of cost synergies we can generate. But that will be more back-ended rather than front-ended.
Perfect, sir. Thank you.
So just one query. Last time when we spoke, you had mentioned about the startups incubated by the group, including your Next Digital, Supin, and Edutech. You also mentioned another company that you would announce a few months down the line if there's anything that you would want to share on that front.
Well, really, they are independent companies, both Edutech and Supin. And last time, about a year and a half ago, one of the similar company called Smart World, that because it needed international marketing, sales, branding, and presence, these small companies cannot have them. So we handed over the company to Mindtree, and they are doing extremely well.
Sir, that is next. L&T next.
L&T next. Huh?
That is L&T next.
L&T
Not Smart
next.
World.
And 3 more entities are there. Smart World, Supin, and EduTech. Someday we find that they also need to be internationalized globally, then there will be one of, I mean, this merged company or LTTS, where it is heavily in favor of engineering, will take it further.
Thank you. The next question from online, please.
Our next question is from Ben from PTI. Please go ahead.
Yeah, this clarity on the merger. Which of the two will be delisted from the exchanges? Is it Mindtree or both? Yes, LTI and Mindtree both will be delisted and trading
Both will be what?
LTI Mindtree.
It will be Mindtree that will be delisted, and the existing share, which is really called LTI, that will be rebranded as LTI Mindtree and will start. So there will not be any discontinuation as far as the LTI shares is concerned.
So it will start trading as LTI Mindtree from tomorrow or from 24?
No, it will be the record date will be 24th of November.
Okay.
We have another question from online media.
That's from the line of Varun from Mint. Please go ahead.
Hi, gentlemen. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Sir, two questions. Firstly, on capital allocation, can LTI Mindtree merged entity please clarify what kind of, say, free cash flow would be returned to shareholders in form of dividends and share buyback, and what percentage of free cash flow has been earmarked for acquisitions? The second question is that from the IT space, can we expect LTI Mindtree CEO to be inducted on the parent L&T board in the coming months? Thank you.
Well, I think you have asked question which we cannot answer as of today. As of today, the CEO of the merged entity is an independent company and is a CEO and managing director. And therefore, if we do that, it will be a merged entity and it will lose its independence and it will lose the relevance of the merger itself. So we don't intend doing that.
And in terms of your first question on the capital allocation, I think so the company's policy has been pretty clear. Around 35 to 40% of the cash has been always distributed in a form of a dividend. Will come out, right now we intend to continue as it is, and will come out with any revised policy in the coming months.
Okay.
Questions? Otherwise, so could you share a bit on the strategy in terms of M&A, because both LTI and Mindtree have a lot of companies that they have acquired, which also significantly contribute to the revenue share of these companies. So if you could elaborate a bit on the strategy going forward.
Well, I think, as I was saying, that there are a lot of practices which have been fairly consistent across LTI and Mindtree, and that will remain consistent. So if you talk about specific to M&A, both the companies have been focused in doing tuck-in acquisitions, and it has to be in a wide space, which is typically in the area of either a specific capability or a specific industry or a specific geography where we feel that it can help us give us an edge in terms of scaling the business. So that has been the principal philosophy of our M&A. The only thing that changes for us, given the fact that we have access to a larger balance sheet right now, we can probably look at acquisitions which are slightly larger than what we have done in the past. But again, that's something which we'll always look at as a part of our M&A process. We always look at targets, and whenever we find something interesting, so the only thing that changes is we can probably look at larger scale as we go along.
So one question of your combined entity, what is the total clients breakup that you can give of US and Europe on the revenue front also, and also on the client side?
Revenue, we already said 70-30.
Clients are also in the same ratio.
And number of clients, there is no point stating that so many in US and so many, because they are all global companies. And some headquarter in US has also revenue from Europe and the other way around. So I don't think it makes sense to tell so many are in US and so many are in Europe.
Thank you so much. If there are no questions, we'll conclude this. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Please join us on the fourth floor. There are refreshments and we have made arrangements for you to find your stories as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have two channels, two questions.
Yes, please.
Are you going to take questions now?
Yeah.
Are you taking these questions now?
They are doing now because they are dispersing after that.
No, I think they asked for some. I think they want one-on-one with you.
No, one-on-one, not with me, with us.
Is it?
In not so many people present. That's all.
Okay.